Just to give you a bit of background, K2 Partnering Solutions are a recruitment agency. We've been in the industry for nearly 20 years now. We were founded in 1997. We do have offices all over the globe, and most of the time we're working with ERP and cloud-based technologies, but we've also started recently moving into other emerging technologies, for example, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, predictive analytics, big data, those sorts of things. We have a partnership with SAP regarding the SAP Learning Hub. You can see the logo for that in the bottom left-hand corner. And over the past year, we have helped over 350 consultants transition their career from one SAP skill set to another, or for people who aren't necessarily coming from an SAP background, helping them to learn various SAP modules. The Learning Hub covers all different modules, so SuccessFactors, Hybris, S4HANA, Cloud for Customer, all of those are covered in courses within the Learning Hub. And our partnership with SAP means that we are able to offer these licenses to freelancers and individuals, and really help you from a consultative point of view to make the right transition to make sure that your career is moving in the right direction. So in this webinar today, we'll be talking about the freelance market in the USA. This webinar is specifically aimed at consultants within the USA, but it's important to note that if you're not joining from the US today, then the Learning Hub is a global platform and is available regardless of which country you're in. But we'll go through the freelance market in the USA, then a bit about what is e-commerce, what is Hybris. If this is a road that you want to go down, where do I begin? I'll then give you a bit more information about the SAP Learning Hub and certifications which are available, and then as I mentioned at the end, we will have time for live questions and answers. So the freelance market in the USA. K2 will work both on a permanent basis as well as contracting, so we're very well placed to be observing trends, noticing how clients are changing their hiring patterns, and a lot of clients are now moving towards hiring more freelancers than they used to before. Companies and their CEOs are more willing to engage freelance talent as a solution, partly because of the huge underlying cost of permanent employees. If you look at the iceberg image on the right-hand side, you've got an idea of what a permanent employee actually costs someone. Obviously, this is only an example, but you have the base salary, which is the kind of visible section of money above the water, and then you've got all of these underlying costs with overheads, the cost of recruitment, interviews, any relocation fees, onboarding. Permanent employees get sick pay, they get holiday pay. This is all something that adds up in terms of a company hiring someone, and so while the base salary might be the visible cost, you have to take a lot of other factors into account. According to Forbes and the Freelancers Union, there are 53 million freelancers in the USA today, which makes up 34% of the workforce, and this is expected to increase to 50% of the workforce by 2020. Big companies like Apple, Microsoft, Google, Facebook, they're blurring the lines between contractors and full-time employees with different benefits in place designed to help attract and retain freelancers. So for example, Facebook might give paid days off, which they wouldn't have done before, to encourage people to stay on as freelancers. Obviously, if someone's a freelancer, they come in, they do the jobs that they've been hired to do, and then they move on to their next project. So if someone can be encouraged to remain as a freelancer, to bring in that expert knowledge as a freelancer, then that's something that companies are very interested in doing at the moment. And 65% of US freelancers say that freelancing is both a lot more viable and a lot more respected as a career than it was 3 years ago. So we can see that this growth is really happening, and it's something that a lot of people are considering now. So what is e-commerce? E-commerce refers to any business transactions that take place through the transfer of information over the internet. So across multiple platforms, whether that's business to business, business to consumer, consumer to consumer, or consumer to business. And Gartner have identified 5 main categories to rate the capabilities of e-commerce solutions over. So there are a lot of different solutions out there. Hybris is one of the leading ones, but is only one of them. And it's possible to see how well a solution does, or how well the company is doing, over these 5 categories, which are organization and brand complexity, digital store localization, consumer buyer personalization, corporate buyer personalization, and multi-channel support. And a composite rating is then developed according to the average score across those categories. And in multiple reports, Hybris is one of the leading solutions across these 5 main categories. And e-commerce is on the rise. It's something that we do without even thinking nowadays. If you've got a phone, if you've got a tablet, you might think, oh, I want to purchase something from Amazon. You don't even think about the fact that you might have gone to the shop previously to buy that. You buy something on your phone, it arrives a couple of days later, and without even realizing, you are contributing to the growth of e-commerce. So in 2015, e-commerce accounted for 7.4% of the total retail market worldwide, equaling $1.6 trillion. And this is expected to rise to 12.8% by 2019. So over the next 2 years, it's going to grow by more than half again, contributing a lot to the industry and to the retail market. And the leading e-commerce markets are in China and the US, which made up more than 55% of global internet retail sales in 2014. And the increase of mobility, with more people having smartphones and tablets, has hugely contributed to the growth of the e-commerce industry. If we look at the graph on the right, on the left, as well, you can see how that percentage is predicted to increase. So in 2016, it was made up 8.6%, or 2.05 trillion, and you can see that that's the total amount in 2019 will increase by more than half again to 3.578 trillion. So it's a huge contributor to the retail industry, and that market growth that we can see there. So what is Hybris exactly? What does it do? It's a leading e-commerce solution with software for commerce, sales, service, marketing, and billing. And their omni-channel commerce solution helps businesses target and engage with their customers better wherever they are across every channel, meaning businesses can sell online, on mobile devices, in-store, and via a contact center. It's proving to be a very popular e-commerce solution because it's scalable and it's very easy to implement. It sits well with an existing ERP system, and generally implementations take on average 6 months, so companies don't need to factor in an extremely long 3-year project or something like that. It's something that can be implemented relatively quickly. And there are global clients across all industries. So businesses using Hybris include Honeywell, Aramark, Benefit, Nikon, Green Mountain Coffee, Johnson & Johnson. We've got some more on this slide. You've got Burberry, Lufthansa, Qantas. So you can see it's not just limited to one industry. On this slide alone, you've got fashion, you've got retail, you've got cosmetics, you've got airlines, technology with Samsung, Carlsberg, food and beverage. So it's really an exciting opportunity for consultants to work with big name clients and also clients who are global. So you're not going to be restricted to one location or one industry if you do start working on Hybris projects. We've got another image here showing Hybris as an industry leader. So if you look at the graphic, which was created by Gartner, on the left-hand side you've got going vertically, you've got the ability to execute, and horizontally you've got the completeness of the vision. And Hybris is pretty much leading there. It's only beaten by Oracle on ability to execute, but it's the most complete in terms of their vision, and there's not many others up there with them. You've got a lot down in the bottom left-hand corner with NetSuite, Avangate, MyWebGrocer, Cleverbridge, BigCommerce. So you've got a lot of other players in the market, but none of them, or hardly any of them, are as complete or as able as Hybris in this case. And this is relatively recent, so this graphic is only from March 2016. So since then, we haven't seen any other big name players coming in to shake things up. So this is still very relevant today. So why should you move to Hybris? What's in it for you? There aren't enough resources on the market to cover all the project needs. So there are projects going on, there are projects happening, but there aren't enough people who have the skills or the expertise to be able to do all of these implementations. So companies are facing essentially a waiting list. If we look at the statistics here, Hybris won 740 new customers in 2015, and only 300 of those were actually able to implement the solution in that year, meaning 2016 started off with 440 planned implementations, plus all of the clients they won in 2016 as well. So if you are looking into Hybris, you're moving into a booming industry, an industry that is certainly on the go. There's no kind of stagnation or anything like that within the Hybris industry. Clients are waiting for people who are able to come in and fulfill the tasks that they need done in terms of implementation. Looking at the US, Hybris architects are earning on average $150 per hour, with developers earning on average $130 per hour. So the rates are good, the rates are attractive in terms of projects, and it's a constantly evolving and enhancing platform, with Hybris already being on the sixth release. So all of the course content and certifications are based on Hybris 6. It's really important nowadays with these cloud-based technologies. It's really important to keep up to date and to make sure that you are learning the newest release of any technology. So if you are coming from perhaps a Hybris 5.5 background, then you need to make sure that you are learning the newest skills and the newest releases to make sure that you can work on any project, because obviously clients are going to want to implement the newest version of any technology. So where would you begin? If this is something that you've heard about, you're interested in knowing more about, what would the next steps be? As with most other e-commerce solutions, Hybris is built on a Java platform, so it uses Java language, Spring framework. So if you've got experience in either of those, that's something that will definitely put you in a good position. Most Hybris consultants do come from some kind of e-commerce background with having some Java knowledge. It's recommended, but it's not compulsory, and there's no means to say that you have to come from that background to be able to start learning Hybris. And many consultants also do come from a CRM or SAP CRM background, particularly with the partnership between Hybris and SAP C4C Cloud for Customer. So there is a very close link between the two, and so we are noticing a lot of consultants coming from a CRM background, SAP CRM background, and learning both Hybris and Cloud for Customer within the Learning Hub. Then there are several courses, including Java courses, if you haven't come from that background, within the Learning Hub, which are designed to prepare you for the certification. And once you've taken all of the courses and familiarise yourself with the necessary content, you can take the exam, one of a few exams available to become a certified SAP Hybris consultant. So just to give you a bit more information about the Learning Hub and the certifications, it's something that you might have heard about a bit more recently. The Learning Hub is certainly something that SAP are investing a lot of time and money into. It's an online learning platform which contains all of SAP's training and learning materials. And those courses come in a variety of different formats, from handbooks or ebooks and e-learning courses to learning maps and learning rooms. Within those learning rooms, that you can have expert and consultant support from other people who are studying the same courses as you. Each learning room is subject specific, so you can go into a Hybris learning room and speak to an instructor or speak to a subject matter expert about any of the content you're learning, or if you do have any questions or you're having any difficulties with any of the content. Because it's an online platform, you can learn at your own pace and in your own time, rather than following someone else's schedule or having to go to an education centre. And then the cloud-based certifications are available within the Certification Hub. So both Hybris and Cloud for Customer. There are 3 different certifications for Hybris, depending on whether you're coming from a product support background or a developer background. And then there are 2 for Hybris, Cloud for Sales and Cloud for Service. And the Certification Hub allows you to do the certification from your home at a time that suits you. So again, there's no need to travel to a certification center, and you can schedule the exam at a time of day that's suitable for you. If you want to do the exam after your kids have gone to bed in the evening, you have the flexibility to do that. With the older SAP certifications, you had to be at an education center at a time specifically then, and if you missed it, then you had to pay for it again. With the Certification Hub, there's a lot more flexibility. If you want to reschedule it, you can, and obviously being able to do it from your own home is very flexible as well. So if you were to purchase a Learning Hub license, what could you expect for Hybris? As I mentioned at the beginning, but I'll mention it again now, the Learning Hub does cover the whole SAP portfolio. So this is specifically for Hybris, but you will find that you'll have access to all of the Cloud for Customer content, all of S4HANA, SuccessFactors, sales and distribution, CRM, Java. So anything that's covered within the SAP portfolio, there are generally courses for that within the Learning Hub. So specifically for Hybris, there are 60 titles related to Hybris, including marketing, front-end development, solution integration, and the newer topics like Cloud for Customer. And these are available in a variety of formats, from e-learning courses and e-books to scheduled live sessions with subject matter experts. And you can interact again, as I said before, with the other consultants and experts within 2 dedicated Hybris learning rooms. So depending on what subjects you're studying, there are 2 learning rooms available for that. And then there are learning maps available as well, which help you become knowledgeable in specific Hybris areas, so specific business roles or scenarios, which can then be translated directly into project scenarios rather than you studying specifically for the certification. And you do then have the option to purchase live system access as well. So you could purchase a Hybris system to actually put your theoretical skills to practice and to be able to have the chance to play around with a live system as well. So what are other consultants saying who have bought the Learning Hub from K2? As I mentioned, we have helped over 350 consultants gain access to the Learning Hub and to start transitioning their careers from one skill set to another. So a Hybris consultant in Switzerland who bought the Learning Hub said, "It's been like carrying my concepts everywhere I need. The clarity at which they've made the interface, it's easy to use. Moreover, I'd like to mention the Learning Room is such a good place to discuss over a topic with peoples from all over the globe, and the learning content's videos are so crisp and brief, very nice to understand. I really liked the interactive learning features and the demos." We've included a statement here from an FICO consultant just because the Learning Hub, as I said, is available for it's the whole SAP portfolio, and it's just good to get an idea of what other people are saying. He's saying he's done several hours so far on the Learning Hub. It's a good tool, very extensive in all the material that's available to review. Collaboration provides a forum to ask questions of the instructor and other users. Overall, I think it's a great investment in building and continuing SAP education. So what would it cost you if you decided that you wanted to go down this road and start this journey? What would a Learning Hub license cost you? I have listed the prices in euros here because although this webinar is aimed at consultants in the US, our prices are fixed in euros, which does mean that these are the final prices if you are in the US, because we wouldn't charge you any VAT. That's only relevant for non-EU consultants. But if you buy from SAP, it's 2,500 euros upfront, which is around $2,750. But if you go through K2, if you pay upfront, you pay 1,980 euros, or around $2,200. If you pay over 3 months, still for the full 12-month subscription, you pay 2,090 euros, or around $2,350. Or if you pay over 6 months, you pay 2,200 euros, or around $2,450. So still, even with our most expensive 6-month option, you do have significant savings against the guide price from SAP, which is €2,500, as mentioned before. And all of those options are, as mentioned, for the full 12-month access to the professional edition of the SAP Learning Hub, which gives you access to unlimited courses. You can choose exactly which ones you want to do, when you want to study them, and you will be able to have that flexibility for the full 12 months. So I will open the floor to questions and answers. If anyone does have any questions, you can, as I mentioned, you can raise your hand and I'll be able to unmute you. Or you can type your question in the question box and I will be able to read out your question as well. Arvind, you've asked, what do you mean by live system access? So live system access it's remote access to a system, basically. So you would be able to practice development, configuration, customization, whatever it is you want to do. You could do that within a one-on-one live system. So it's something, it's not compulsory for the certification, but most consultants, particularly if it's a new area of study, want to have had a chance to work with an actual system rather than just learning the theoretical side. And so that's where people have been purchasing the live system access. It's available in blocks of 20 hours, and you can do what you want within that time over a period of 30 days. So it's something that is an attractive add-on if it will be a new system for you. We've had a question from Jeff who's saying he wants to know how he can proceed to subscribe. It's a very easy process. There is some information that we would need from you, for example, email address, your address, your payment plan that you've chosen. And once we've done that, we can send you the order form. And once we have the order form electronically signed, you will receive the invoice and you can either then pay by PayPal or by bank transfer. And once we've received either the full payment or the first payment, if you go for the 3 or 6 month option, then you will have access after the full access to the platform after the first payment. Jeff saying he wants to buy up front and start subscription straight away. When can I get an access? I'll connect with you after the call. We'll be able to get you your access hopefully by the end of the week, as long as we can get the payment and the information in the right amount of time. But Jeff, I'll contact you after the webinar. Arvind is saying, assume there are 2 roles, functional and technical. Can you elaborate on the prerequisites for functional roles? Yes, you're right. So there is a functional and a technical side to the to Hybris. There's both the business analyst side, the functional side, and then there's the developer side. The prerequisites are the same. So it's, you don't necessarily need to have studied anything in particular beforehand. You have all of the courses available to you within the Learning Hub. So even if you're not coming from a technical background at all, when you're doing the certification, you'll be able to see, or before you do the certification, you'll be able to see exactly which courses you need to have studied to be able to do that certification or to have covered all of the content. And all of those courses for the functional certifications as well as the technical ones are available within the Learning Hub. I hope that's answered your question, Arvind. But thank you everyone for giving your time today. Hope you found the webinar useful and informative. If you do have any questions, you can get in contact with me. My email address is cswan@k2partnering.com. And as I said, we will be following up with everyone anyway, just to see whether there were any further questions or further information needed. So thank you everyone for joining today. Hope you have a good afternoon or day wherever you are, and thank you again for your time.